Welcome to Workforce in Action. This is a program brought to you by the Governor's Workforce Development Board. My name is Sana Joseph Smith. I'm one of your hosts. And joined with me today, our co-host is Ms. Sonia Boyce, Executive Director of the Workforce Development Board.
Greetings.
In addition to Ms. Boyce, welcome. Good morning.
Greetings. Welcome to our viewing and listening audience.
Awesome. So you know we don't ever come alone without some company. So today we have two phenomenal ladies that we'd love to introduce you to. Over here we have first, make sure I get your title correct, Assistant Commissioner, Ms. Carla Benjamin. Good morning. I'm rushing it. Good morning.
Good morning.
Welcome, welcome. And with you, you brought Ms. Luz Camacho.
Good morning.
All right, welcome, Ms. Camacho. It's happy to have you guys here. Your department is no stranger to our Workforce in Action series, so we're definitely excited to have you because anytime, you know, these ladies are here from the Department of Human Services, we have some good stuff coming for you guys. So our conversation today is really going to be talking about the impact that childcare or the lack of childcare is having on our workforce. And because we are women of solutions, we're here to share with you some exciting news and really discuss why this needs to be a topic that not only persons with children are concerned about, but why it affects our entire community as a whole. We all, if you don't know, are experiencing a worker shortage, and it's not just happening here in the Virgin Islands, but it's actually international. On the mainland and globally, we're having this challenge. And we know that if we don't address this challenge proactively, it's going to trickle into other areas and start impacting us. In fact, Ms. Boyce, you and I were on a workshop a few weeks back. Tell us about that and what we learned on that workshop.
Yes, when we sat in on the Women's Bureau's discussion on child care services and the fact that it was impacting the economy, really. Getting people back to work and trying to come up with solutions as to how best to approach that. And here in the territory, we're no different. And we thought, they're having that issue. We're having that issue. And we have so many training opportunities here in the territory. And as the governor, he keeps reaching out to the people, you know, of the Virgin Islands, encouraging them and creating a sense of urgency for them to get trained and be well prepared and well skilled for all the opportunities here in the territory. We thought, you know, what solutions can we look at? So childcare, since it's a big deal nationally, internationally, and here in the territory, we figured let's look at some ways that we can get people back into the workforce, into the world of work, but giving them those solutions that they need. And Human Services, you know, you guys came in and helped solve that problem. So we're so grateful for this opportunity for you to speak on it and to share that with the community and to talk about it's a pilot program. It's a small program that we're starting out to see how best on the demands and the needs of the community. So once we see that, then we'll be able to see how expansive we can be with it.
I love the fact that you mentioned that the training and leveling up and so forth. And that's why I mentioned initially that childcare is not just an issue for those with children. If you are a supervisor, a manager, if you're a coworker, when someone doesn't show up to work because they don't have childcare and then you have to work more and cover their shift and do doubles, then it impacts you. You want to make sure they have childcare because now it impacts you, impacts your ability to be productive, you know, as an employer. It impacts our ability to, you know, be efficient, our revenues and so forth. So it's a rippling effect and we all have to participate in this. So let's go over to you ladies. You've heard this challenge. You know, we thought we were doing something, asking for this pilot, and then Human Services was like, we already started. So tell us about it. What was your solution? What did you guys think would be a great way to address this?
Thank you so much for having us. Before I talk about the pilot program, let me just explain that. We're from the Department of Human Services, specifically the Office of Child Care and Regulatory Services.
Okay.
And the Office of Child Care and Regulatory Services is that division at the Department of Human Services that administers the child care funds, federal child care funds.
Okay.
And the purpose is to ensure that families with low income have an ability to access quality childcare, quality safe childcare. But in addition to that, as a result of situations like COVID, where a lot of people were negatively impacted, especially the childcare industry, because for a while everything was shut down, and so childcare centers that would usually operate by having children sitting in their spaces, that did not happen. And as we move out of COVID, the numbers are not exactly as high as they used to be. One of the allowances during COVID was the income guidelines went away. So I mentioned before, it's primarily for low-income families. There is an income qualification threshold depending upon a family's household size and their income. That went away during COVID, and essential workers were allowed to access childcare regardless of income.
Nice.
And that was important because with essential workers, they were the ones who were not able to perform their job functions at home. They had to leave the home.
There's no
They had to, exactly. So the essential workers allowance was one of the things that we did during COVID. And as we were moving out of COVID, keeping in mind that we were trying to ensure that everyone who could go back out to work could, and those persons who were trying to enter the workforce would be able to do that as well. We amended our state plan to allow for an extension, 90-day extension initially, and then we did an amendment that has it going forward. So the allowance right now is essential workers, they're categorically eligible. So as long as you're required to leave your home to go work whenever there's an emergency, you qualify. The only caveat would be we would still look at your income, and depending upon what your income is on a sliding scale, you might have to pay a slight co-payment, but childcare is available as long as you're an essential worker. Additionally, because essential workers tend not to do 8 to 5, 9 to 5.
I was just about to ask you about that. Go ahead. Tell them about it.
Sometimes essential workers are required to work overnight. They're required to work holidays. They're required to work weekends.
And past 5 o'clock.
This is true. Standard childcare hours are usually those traditional work hours to allow parents to go to work while their children are being taken care of. We've always had the option as a part of our state plan to offer childcare between 7 p.m. and 7 a.m., but we've never actually implemented it, and providers in the territory didn't usually offer it after hours and on weekends. And that is something that we've stood up now. So we identified a number of providers in both districts, St. Thomas, St. John, and St. Croix.
Awesome. Are you guys hearing this?
Is there a need for more providers? Can you make that pitch right now if you do need more?
Yes, I definitely can. There's always been a need for more providers, but like I said, as a result of COVID, there were some providers that shut down and didn't necessarily reopen, haven't reopened yet as we come out of COVID. So there's definitely a need for providers. There was a lot of federal help that came into the territories as a result of the pandemic. And so there is funding for subsidy. We are able to provide subsidies for families who need to access childcare so that the Department of Human Services, the government, is able to pay, if not all, most of the childcare costs. And our lady here, Ms. Camacho, knows all things eligibility as far as childcare goes.
Awesome. Did you want to share anything about as far as some of the key points of where the application process? Who do they contact? For example, is that you or is that someone else?
Everyone works together.
Okay.
They can contact our office and anyone will assist them.
Can you share that number with us?
Our number is 340 772-7147.
Awesome.
And the
Yes.
location where they can...
The location, we're located in 129 Golden Rock, Christiansted.
Okay.
That's
Yes.
St. Croix. And then on
Yes.
St. Thomas, we're located at the New Hanson Complex. and the number there is 774-0930, either extension 4180 or 4184.
And we'll repeat that again so that we have that there. You know, as far as when folks come in, you know, can they expect, do they have to have a paper application or would it be online? How does that look?
We do have the application online at
Oh,
dhs.gov.vi.
One more time.
dhs.gov.vi.
Okay.
Yes, also we have application packages in our office. Sometimes parents do call or interested applicants do call, and we actually email the applications to them.
Very nice.
To make it kind of easier for,
So DHS
yes.
is digital. Y'all see that? Efficient. Efficient. I love it. I love it. This is awesome. I think what is exciting for me is the fact that, you know, we have so many tourism-driven opportunities, and those are not 9 to 5, 8 to 4 type of jobs. And they're necessary for our economy. They're essential because we're on an island, right? And so I love the idea that, you know, after 5, you can still get quality childcare. Because we all know we have that relative that you're like, can you please babysit? And then when they decide they're going lineman or they're going out to dinner or whatever, then you're up a creek and can't work. And so I love the fact that, you know, you can have someone dependable, you can have someone who's qualified to really entrust your children to. So I think that's awesome.
Yes.
Having providers who are in various parts of the island would certainly help. You know, so just remember St. Croix, on St. Croix, on St. Thomas. I don't know if it's going to be done on St. John either, but we have the Christiansted, Frederiksted, and the Mid Island, and you know, so we are very mindful, and I know that is, you know, something that we are mindful of because if we're talking about childcare services, we want to make it as easy as possible. So if somebody works in Christiansted and they live in Frederiksted, they may want that Frederiksted to be the last stop to pick up their child, you know. So I'm looking forward to the results of that pilot program. And I don't know if you want to speak to the length of it or the fact that it is a pilot program and you're testing it. So do you want to, and also certain fees, because we know it's not anything exorbitant, that it's something that's very affordable, that will be affordable. So people could get that, you know that they have some ease with that, and the fee is structured in a way to help people not hurt their pocketbooks.
Yeah. I wanted to mention that very basically, to qualify for childcare, you have to be working at least 30 hours or in training for 30 hours.
Ooh.
Or a combination of both.
Okay.
And one of the modifications that we made to the state plan last year was previously if you were training, it had to be in person. Now virtual training counts as long as you have supporting
Awesome.
documentation from whatever training entity you're training with. So in the St. Thomas, St. John district, for the purposes of the pilot program for the non-traditional hours, the two providers are Newton's Kids Academy and the University of the Virgin Islands.
Good.
And then on St. Croix, it's Doremi Daycare, which is in Frederiksted, Happy Faces, which is in Christiansted,
Mid-Isle, yeah, that's like Mid-Isle too.
Tenacious Toddlers, which is also in Christiansted, and then Watch Me Grow is sort of in a Mid-Island area.
Okay,
Yes.
good.
So they're providers all across the islands. So we want to pilot it for 90 days. Currently, there has already been an expressed need for weekend hours because there weren't any childcare providers already providing services on weekends. So we're gonna be watching to see how much demand there is for childcare during weekends and evenings and overnight. And then we're gonna be having constant communication with the providers to see how that's working. Like I said, what the demand is, are people reaching out? What are some of the challenges? What works, what doesn't work? So that we can ensure that we can make any changes, improvements to make it.
I love the
easier.
database analysis. I think it's awesome. Ms. Camacho, yes.
Also I would like to add to Ms. Benjamin's comments that the parents do have a choice to select an informal provider. which
Okay.
would be a friend, neighbor, or family.
So this is an informal provider, is what that program is
Yes.
called? Okay, so a friend, so if they have a reliable friend, family,
Correct.
then that person.
That would be able to take care of this child in their home or in the provider's home.
That is
Excellent.
awesome.
Yes.
That is awesome. And I think this is the beauty of this program. Like, we're learning all kinds of details. I know all these people. I'm like, look, get your employees, have them contact Human Services right away. I think, you know, we often complain that in the territory that we don't have the options that stateside has and so forth. And I feel like we have so many. We have these secret gems. And, you know, part of our goal for today is to make sure that those secrets are out, right? And that everyone is aware of the great work you guys are doing, and that, you know, we are leading the charge. You know, they are, even on that same workshop that Ms. Boyce and I attended, they were still trying to figure out what they're going to do and going back and forth with him and Han. And we were like, no, we're going to do something. And then we thought we were doing something, and come to find out Human Services were already doing it. And so I'm just, you know, super proud of, you know, your work and your department and what you guys are doing, because we are a small territory, but we are leading the charge. And like we said, this is a global challenge, and look at us, we're solving it. We are providing solutions. So I really hope that everybody goes out there, spread the word, so that we can get some true data to find out where the need is. And so that, to your point, we can adjust as necessary, you know, with that. So
People in the hospitality industry, I think this would be a great opportunity for them. I look at that word as opportunity, because there's so many, you say the hidden secrets, but I call that word opportunities rather than the hidden. It's really opportunities.
Correct.
So people can, you know, who even for the training programs that that you talked about, even online, because sometimes you may not be getting trained from home, sitting in front of a laptop.
have you ever tried to
but
walk with a child in the background? It doesn't happen.
Yeah, and you need that peace of mind to be able to focus on whatever you're training for. So, you know, and again, I can't thank you all so much, because when Sana and I, we were listening to all the women from all over the nation talk about this and how they're, you know, ways that they're thinking to solve it. And here you guys came up with that. So it is a good thing. And we really, really hope that the people, men, women, because there are men raising their children too. So it's not just,
Grandparents, yeah.
yes, grandparents, that they can take advantage of the opportunities. But more importantly, the data that will come from this to really give us that push to continue doing it some more, and maybe on an even greater scale. For example, but when we were discussing it, I think it was 2 weeks ago, last week, one of our discussions, we were talking about the children who have a place to go to for the centers, because the centers will be more, give them more training to things to the reading comprehension, have them read, do some online learning, or however they're going to do that.
Experiential learning.
Yes, so that we can now reflect, you know, go back and see how well they're doing from the time they started the program. Did their grades improve, their reading improve? You know, they're not playing video games, but now they're focused on doing other things. So maybe you can, because I know you shared about some of the different strategies y'all have at those centers.
Yeah. Well, one of the fortuitous things about our jurisdiction is that our Office of Child Care and Regulatory Services has both the subsidy component and the licensing component and the quality improvement component under one umbrella. In some jurisdictions, they're not even housed in the same department.
Wow.
So we're the same agency that licenses the facilities. Where, you know, we go out, we do inspections, we make sure that they pass all of their other inspections with health and education, and health and DPNR. All of those agencies we have to liaise with in order to get them licensed. And then we have our quality component, it's actually quality improvement, and that's exactly what they do. We provide trainings on everything from health and safety to infection control. We provide resources, in some cases, actual equipment that provides tactile stimulation, working mats. We bought, and because childcare ranges from infancy to age 12, we've provided
That's a good
everything.
point. We forgot to
Yes.
mention that.
Yes.
Yes. So don't drop off your teenager.
We can't do 13 and above. But we last year we asked providers to give us their wish list, and people asked for everything from changing tables to activity mats to storage cabinets, and because we did get the federal help, we were able to provide that. So the child care centers are not Head Start. Head Start is sort of the gold standard for early childhood education. But there definitely is a component in there that speaks to what you were talking about. The children are not going to be in child care centers just kind of laying around or looking at TV. There is definitely a learning component, a social interaction component, and they begin to be prepared for kindergarten earlier in those centers.
Yeah.
We also do assist children with special needs
Very
Yes.
nice.
until the age of 18.
Okay.
Oh,
Oh, so there's an
Yes.
exception to the age. Okay.
Yes.
Awesome.
That's good to know. So
Yes.
Yes.
Because we definitely, especially when it comes to that population, the amount of resources that are required just to make sure that they have what they need, it's tremendous. So
Yes.
that's really great.
Especially for those children.
Yes. Thank you. Thank you. I think what is so exciting when I hear about, the program and the doors and opportunities is that, oftentimes, having a child or having to care for a child, because to Sonia's point, there are many aunties, grandparents that have these children. Once you have them, it impacts your ability to move up in your career. It impacts your ability to get educated because they suck up so much of your time. They require so much attention. And so I feel like this program allows those those persons who have, children in their care to level up. This is you can, skill up and increase your economic position, increase your education, and open up opportunities for not just yourself, for your entire family, all by just providing childcare.
Yeah, and increase your income most of all, because once you level up, and then you also, for the job, people in the hospitality industry, the service industry, that they can earn more money, get more hours. So if you work during the day and you have to rush home to tend to your children in the evening, now you can expand your hours so you're able to earn more money.
Yeah.
Yeah, Ms. Camacho mentioned the family, friends, and neighbor option, and that is not just identify a family, friend, or a neighbor who can take care of your child just because they're being nice. They actually receive subsidies as well. So the licensing component will still do their due diligence in ensuring that the child is being cared for in a safe and appropriate space. The level of the standard is not the same as it would be for a formal childcare setting, but we are able to provide a subsidy for that child. So your family, friend, or neighbor would get paid for taking care of your child. We don't want this to be an opportunity lost because we're looking at the data. We don't want to do this pilot and then the data shows there's no need when in fact there is a need. So we're encouraging, essential workers, the general community, folks who have to work on weekends, even if it's not every weekend. You're able to access this opportunity, please do, because we do need to get the real numbers.
So don't eliminate yourself, I think, is the moral of the story. If you are, questioning whether your income qualifies, whether you are an essential worker, please call the Department of Human Services and their child care department. Let them guide you. Don't eliminate yourself so that we can get as many people as possible the services that they need. So ladies, I know that was quick, but we're at the end of our program. But as always, I'd like to give everyone an opportunity for their last comments. What are you guys thinking? What's the last thing, if anyone just picked up this show and they're listening to the last couple minutes, what do they need to hear?
Reach out to the Department of Human Services. There are opportunities for childcare that will allow individuals who work to have a more of a sense of comfort knowing that your child is in a safe space receiving quality childcare. And if you're trying to enter the workforce, there is an opportunity for you to have childcare while you receive training. So call us. You can give your numbers again.
Yes, one more time. Yep.
So on St. If you're on St. and you can call either district, but the number on St. Thomas at our New Hanson location is 340-774-0930, extension 4180 or 4184. And then on St. Croix, it's 340-772-7147, and that's our location at 129 Golden Rock. You can also reach out to the department through the to our website, which is dhs.gov.vi. Call and ask a question. Like Ms. Joseph Smith said, don't self-eliminate, don't disqualify yourself, because there's lots and lots of opportunities.
Ms. Camacho, anything to add?
We're just here to assist anyone that is in need. I would say, don't think that you are not eligible until you come to us and let us give you the information. Sometimes they will think that they're not, but yes, they are, especially now that we have this program with the essential workers.
So even if you didn't qualify before, still try again because you may
Correct.
qualify now.
Yes.
Awesome.
Would you mind repeating that in Spanish? I know we're wrapping up, but
Yeah, that's
Sí. Por favor, ayúdanos.
Nosotros estamos en la oficina del Departamento de Cuidado para Niños en 129 Golden Rock. Nosotros estamos aquí para asistirle. Si usted siente que no cualifica para el programa, por favor no se deje llevar por eso, venga donde nosotros le damos la información. A lo mejor sí cualifica, especialmente en este momento que tenemos el programa para empleados esenciales.
Gracias, perfecto. And Ms. Boyce.
I just want to say thank you all so very much for being part of the show. Certainly putting that information out there. It's an opportunity. So I'm urging every Virgin Islander, whether or not you feel you can qualify for it or not, the only thing that you can do is call or visit to find out. And then once you know you can, do it, please, because you're only helping yourself, your family, your community.
Awesome. My last plea is actually to the employers, to the supervisors, to the managers. You all know those that you work with that need this support. Please take this information and pass it on to them. Post it, put their phone numbers on a flyer, on a poster, put it up. We all need to be in this together in order to address the challenges. And I feel that if we give the resources and let them know, then it'll be an opportunity for us to help one another. So again, thank you all for coming. It's been another phenomenal session and always a great time with Human Services. And until the next time, this has been your latest edition of Workforce in Action. Have a great one.